Welcome everybody to Ahead of the Curve. This is our summer webinar series. I am live here from Florida, going to the Sancora show, as well as doing an event at Topgolf tomorrow night. So if you are in Florida or you are coming, be sure to register and join us there. It's going to be a ton of fun. We do these events very well, if I do say so myself, because it's just fun. Excuse me, no pressure, just a lot of networking, loving on each other, and having fun. So, I know that you guys love when I talk about this, but I'm going to continue to talk about it because I love our badass university. So, if you are not a member, a great, fantastic place to start, especially for those who think that it's just too much. You can't handle it. You don't have enough time. You'll never be able to execute. That's all great reasons not to join. Shiny object syndrome is an absolute real thing. And we don't want to put more on your plate. We want to be sure that you are getting enough out of it. So a great place to start is our monthly newsletter. It comes to your door. It's one subject, one serious strategy that you can execute to change your pharmacy. It's not just little tidbits or read here, click here to learn more type of thing. This thing gives you one full strategy. It has great deals inside. You know, you still get all the member only deals at the $200 membership. So it's a great place to start. So I encourage you all to give that a try. And let me know what you think. I'd love to hear what you guys think about the newsletters. The last couple ones, and you know I'm kind of Lisa's favorite fan, so I might be a little biased, but they are really good. Super duper duper good. Heck, we have some extras. If you would like to test it out first, email me and I'll send you one from my very own collection. Now, Pharmacy Badass University, it isn't just a bunch of courses thrown at the wall like spaghetti to see what sticks. We actually have a strategy, and this is our pharmacy profit matrix. So step one, you're going to reverse poor cash flow and low profits. Step two, you're going to build strong business foundations. Step three, you're going to scale. And then step four, you're going to diversify. Now, our friends at AutoPilotRX, they definitely fall into the scale, into step three, and they are going to talk to us today about compounding growth. And don't be afraid. Don't log off now. This is a great way to add compounding, kind of without adding compounding, Neal, to your pharmacy. So I don't have to tell you guys this. GLP-1s and peptides are a great revenue stream for pharmacies. And so if you don't move fast, though, this may be something like the first round of GLP-1s that'll pass you by. So we have to get better at moving fast when opportunities are there for us to take. Now, the good news is the regulatory landscape just moved. The Pharmacy Compounding Advisory Committee met, and 6 of the 7 peptides that were in front of them got the green or favorable recommendations to go on to the FDA. The only one that didn't was DSIP. So BPC 157, KPV, KB 500, MOTC, CMAX, which I'm personally very excited about, and Epithen, or Epithalon, all got the green light. So that was very great. I'm sure lots of you saw Lisa's breaking news over last weekend while she was in California. So what does this mean for all of you guys? It's that we can, it won't have such a gray cloud over it. It doesn't become people are buying them from anywhere and everywhere. It means that they can get them from you, who is their trusted advisor. However, the biggest barrier isn't just the clean room. It's everything that comes along with it. So compliance, operations, workflow, marketing. That's all the baloney that you have to deal with. And sometimes, I mean, some of you just don't have it in you to do it. Some of you obviously do. Don't get me wrong. I'm not discouraging anybody from taking this on, but Autopilot's going to show us a better way to do it. So the opportunity is, of course, exciting. The execution is where it gets complicated, and that's where our friends are going to come in. Okay, so it's just too many moving parts, especially when we're trying to move fast, when we are trying to hop on a new trend or a new uh, gosh, not just trend, because that sounds terrible, Heather, but a new solution for patients to get healthier, be healthier. Sometimes it does have moving parts, and so I'm going to skip these and we're going to get right to Autopilot. So my marketing department is trying to get me to do better at these webinars, and it'll take us a couple times, guys. So stick with me. But I'm so happy. We have Neal Watterson with AutoPilotRX, and he's going to tell us how you can take the opportunity and make it easier for you, your team, to actually execute within your pharmacy. So, Neal, I'm so happy to have you.
Heather, thank you so much. That was a great introduction. Really appreciate it. And I'm so grateful for what you and the DiversifyRx team provides to the community of independent pharmacies. We love being a part of it, love being a part of your community, and thank you for all that you do.
Yeah.
To go ahead and send a request here to share my screen.
Yes. Let me stop sharing. Okay. So before we get started, Neal, before you start sharing your screen, there's a few housekeeping things that I want to chat about. Number
Sure.
one is the rules in this house are there are no rules. So pharmacists, I do these in hopes that I can get all of the pharmacists, pharmacy owners, my friends' questions asked before, so they can make a decision before they book a demo or move on or not move on from you. They are allowed to stop the conversation, ask me questions, and I will ask them. They will pop up in the chat. Friends, if all of you have been around for quite some time. If we have new folks, this is your first webinar, welcome. But feel free to ask any questions in the webinar chat. You can use the Q&A little button or the webinar chat, either one, and I will ask the question. So with that being said, Neal, take it away. Let's see how AutoPilotRx works.
Wonderful. And yes, welcome any kind of questions as we go along in the presentation. Very nice to be with everybody today. I'm so grateful to be here on this webinar. I thought maybe I'd just give a quick background on myself so you know who's talking to you.
Yes.
Neal Watterson, originally from North Carolina. I actually currently live now in New York City. You can see behind me the Empire State Building in the Autopilot office here. My background is largely in entrepreneurship and technology. I studied at Stanford and I worked at Uber in the early days and saw just how much technology can really transform old school industries. In the case of Uber, it was taxis and how do you get a ride easily? Uber dramatically transformed the way that we all move around today. And I felt like there's got to be a way to improve healthcare. My entire family are providers. I've grown up in the healthcare system. I've worked in clinics and I've experienced the pain points of interacting with pharmacies from a clinic side. And I've also gone and worked in a pharmacy and experienced the pain points of dealing with providers and some of the challenges that arise there. And so Autopilot is technology that streamlines the process between providers, licensed clinicians, and pharmacies. And we've been working on this product for several years now, and we're excited to share with you one sliver of what we're doing at Autopilot to help make pharmacies' lives easier and help them earn more money.
That sounds great. I think that's a goal for all of our friends here.
Awesome. Great. So I've got something here to start that might look familiar to you guys. This is Oliver Twist. Independent pharmacies, please, sir, can I have a fair drug reimbursement? I don't know if that sounds familiar to any of you all. Down below is a PBM who says, you want more? And then proceeds to issue a retroactive clawback fee. This scenario may sound very familiar to many of you. We've talked with many pharmacies that actually come to find out they're actually losing money on a lot of the drugs and medications that they're dispensing. What we've seen over the past several years is that, the old way is just not quite working. It concentrates power with payers who are making decisions that don't always align with the best interest for patients or for providers or for pharmacies. As a result, healthcare costs have continued to rise. There's distorted incentives, and it reduces ultimately affordability for patients. But the good news is there is a new way that is emerging, a new system that is actually pushing the rights back into the hands of the patients and the people that serve those patients. And that is really related to cash pay medicine. And I believe that the future of healthcare involves a big component of cash pay medicine, where the free market and the consumer is able to decide how and what healthcare they want. They have transparency, they have visibility. And the biggest signs of that are some of the things that I mentioned here. The first is an exploding wellness market. It's estimated to be valued at 2.1 trillion in the US. And it's a massive surge in functional medicine, longevity medicine, and customized wellness protocols. The old way of doing things was pathogenesis, where, let's figure out what happened, what made you sick. The new way is really focused on how do we live a healthy life? How do we kind of take control of our life as patients and really kind of be proactive in that? And you're seeing that in the rise of what's called retail health. This is where patients are proactively paying out of pocket for optimized health. You see it with labs, you see it with wearables, you see it with food, and you see it also in medications. 82% of US consumers now consider wellness a top priority in their everyday lives. And so this is a trend that's growing. Alcohol consumption is going down. People are going to saunas and wellness centers. They're really taking control of their life. They want to live healthy, better lives. And the great news about cash pay medicine as it relates to pharmacies is there's less of that PBM friction. There's actually zero PBM friction because patients are making those decisions on their own. It's devoid of corporate insurance formularies, prior authorizations, and clawbacks. And so many of you here on the call, I know, are not probably doing a lot of cash pay, or if you are, maybe limited to
Yeah,
some.
there's quite a few on here
Okay.
that are doing cash pay. One in particular, we have a cash pay rock star in the room
Awesome.
with us. So our folks are definitely open to, well, to cash. I mean, who isn't? But you're speaking to a group of folks that are ready and willing.
Awesome. Wonderful. Great to hear. And what I'm going to outline today here in this discussion, Heather and team, is just how can we take advantage of this trend that's happening, even if we don't have a sterile clean room. Many of the medications that patients are buying today are sterile injectable products, and not everybody has either the money or the space to have a clean room. So how can you take advantage of that? And we'll get into a little bit more on the details of that. But first, I just kind of wanted to put this in perspective. GLP-1s is a huge tip of the spear to illustrate the things I just mentioned. And everybody's talking now about AI, and AI is kind of taking over the world. Well, the crazy thing is that in 2025, the rate of growth of GLP-1s exceeded that of AI by 2.5 times. And so everybody's talking about AI. Well, GLP growth and people wanting to lose weight, especially in the US, has grown even more.
Sure.
And in fact, 1 in 8 Americans is on a GLP-1 today. Adoption doubled in 1 year, and it's on pace to hit 250 billion by 2030 is the recent estimates of the market. So it's a market that's growing. People have tried GLP-1s. Many of them are still on them. And my favorite stat is the one here at the bottom where they estimate over $500 million will be saved in jet fuel costs because so many people are actually losing weight.
It's insane.
Yes. But what's really cool is as we see like the obesity rates are actually for the first time starting to dip. And that's a really great thing for our society as people begin to lose weight. It has trickle-on effects for their health. They are able to live healthier lives. And having worked with many of these patients, I've seen patients lose over 100 pounds. It's amazing what that can do for their life and for their way of life and how they live. So GLP-1s are a big trend. They're not the only trend, and we'll talk a little bit about what else is coming, but it's one that I wanted to focus on kind of as a use case in this scenario.
Sure, sure.
So how does AutoPilot enable you as a pharmacy that doesn't have a clean room to dispense compounded GLP-1 medications? The way it works is through a compliant technology system where the originating pharmacy receives a prescription for a compound medication and using AutoPilot's technology is able to share that prescription with a fulfillment pharmacy, a 503A compounding fulfillment pharmacy. And the distinction there is very important. And I'll get into why that's important, but this is not transferring a prescription. Some people transferring a prescription and getting paid on it is actually not allowed. This is sharing a prescription with a 503A sterile compounding fulfillment pharmacy. We've done a lot of research on this. We've worked with a lot of lawyers, and this has really been focused on compliance. How do we maintain compliance in an ever-evolving landscape? And so through AutoPilot's technology, originated pharmacy is able to share that prescription with the 503A sterile compounding fulfillment pharmacy. That pharmacy compounds the medication and then either sends it back to the originating pharmacy to dispense to the patient or can send directly to the patient themselves. Now, we live in a great country that has 50 states, and each state board of pharmacy is a little bit different. We've done extensive research on a lot of these states. There is maybe one or two, maybe three states that don't allow this model at all, but in most states it is allowed. And there's certain nuances and things that you need to consider when doing it. And what our technology helps do is to eliminate a lot of the pain points and like, how do I keep up with these regulations? How do I know that I'm doing it properly? We kind of take out that burden for you. So you just know that you can very easily send on your prescriptions, get them filled, and do it in a compliant manner.
Neal, is California legal to ship 503As?
Yeah, so I can't answer on this call specifics related to specific states, but we do we can at the end of this we'll share a link where you can have a call with one of our specialists that can go through state by state, can actually answer your questions related to each state and help you better understand what we can do in your state. I do believe there is an option in California, just to kind of touch on that, but the specifics of how it works, how it functions would need to be discussed on a one-on-one call to make sure that we're handling it in the right way.
Okay. So do you know which 2 or 3 states don't allow it, that are just absolutely no's?
Yeah, the one offhand is Nevada. I think Nevada has kind of been the one to say, no, we can't do it this way. I can't remember what the other one was, but in most states, there is an opportunity to be able to do this.
Okay. Hopefully you can, or maybe you can get back to me and we can put that in the show notes.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So I mentioned on the previous slide that this is a 503A pharmacy, and that is important because of recent regulatory change. 503B outsourcing facilities cannot compound GLP-1s. Some on this call may have at certain times received 503B GLP-1 medications and dispensed them. That is no longer allowed. Without an active shortage list for GLPs, 503B outsourcing facilities are prohibited from mass producing stock of these medications. And so that's why many of you may have heard, well, GLPs are gone and we can't do it anymore. Well, yes, the 503B outsourcing facilities cannot compound these medications. But this is with a 503A pharmacy. And under Section 503A of the FD&C Act, 503A pharmacies may compound GLP-1s upon receiving an individual patient-specific prescription that documents a clear medical necessity or significant difference. Part of what our technology does is ensure that that is satisfied, that that box is checked. And so we take something that's very complicated and try and distill it and make it simple. And what you'll see down here at the bottom is a compliance checklist of what you need to ensure that you can actually do this. You need a patient-specific prescription. You need documented provider rationale for the significant difference. Bulk API source from an FDA registered facility. You may have also heard this called the green list.
Mm-hmm.
The compounding pharmacies we work, they check all of these boxes. They get their API from good sources, and they follow the USP 797 sterile compounding standards, which is also very important. As I mentioned before, part of this is not transferring a prescription, this is sharing a prescription, and it's done through a shared centralized database. And that is what AutoPilot helps facilitate to make sure that this is compliant and done in the proper way. So let's talk about what does it cost and how do you do this? Let's dig in a little bit more. So what's awesome about our program is it is a risk-free revenue generation opportunity. It is completely free to get started. You can sign up for AutoPilot and you can begin to share these prescriptions with fulfillment pharmacies. You can see here the pharmacist in charge, Florida, said that they added 14 grand in the first month without hiring, no clean room, and without turning any patients away. So, some of you might be saying, well, I haven't gotten a script for a compound medication. Well, our team will help you and work with you to help inform doctors that you now offer this service that you didn't have before. And you will be very impressed and surprised at the volume of prescriptions that you will begin to receive related to compound medications. On average, we see about $10,000 to $20,000 in monthly new revenue. And again, it's completely free to get on our platform. You just pay for the medication itself. And our fulfillment pharmacy offer very great competitive rates just to give you kind of some sense of what you could potentially make. Let's say that like an average GLP-1 tirzepatide with glycine costs $150. And the typical market rate for that is $300 to $350. And so we see pharmacies making a lot of money on each script that they actually help dispense. And you're performing a valuable service by ingesting that prescription, checking that everything is right, and then sharing it with the fulfillment pharmacy. Mm. So why partner with AutoPilot on sterile central fill? Well, there's zero upfront investment. You get access to compounding capacity without that clean room build out. You can earn an extra 10 to 20K per month. Think about what that could do for your pharmacy, what other things you can invest in. You can capture this wave of GLPs that is happening right now and other waves that are coming as well related to sterile compounds. And then lastly is maintaining that bulletproof compliance. And this is the biggest thing that I like to dwell on is that our proprietary routing technology really ensures compliance with these rigid state boards of pharmacy regulations. That's something you don't want to have to think about. We help handle that for you, help make sure that everything is good on that dimension.
Very good. So I know the pharmacists are going to ask this question or are all thinking it. If it's completely free for them, you're just the middleman. How are you guys making money?
Yep. So we work with the fulfillment pharmacies, and they are the ones that pay us technology routing fee for our services.
Okay. Very good.
Yes. Great question. And I just wanted to share that like GLPs, we just talked about them here, but there's a lot of other things. Peptides is a big thing that's happening right now. Heather, you mentioned in the beginning of your presentation about the PCAC meeting that happened last week, a very important vote. You can see there on the right, the peptides that were voted as yes to recommend to the FDA. Now, this doesn't mean that they are completely ready to be utilized. The FDA still needs to go through their formal process of rulemaking. But there are also peptides that are not listed on this list that are allowed to be compounded today. Things like glutathione, and there's also NAD+, which is not a peptide, but these are other sterile injectables that you can use and you can also facilitate through the 503A sterile central fill program that we offer at AutoPilot.
Well, there's tons more. Hormones, testosterone, like there's a myriad of ways that compounding helps patients. So, yep.
Exactly. And we truly believe that the future of medicine involves a high component of cash pay and a high level of personalization. In the future, patients will be getting their blood drawn, getting their gene sequence, having their wearables. All this data and information will go into designing better treatments and protocols. It may involve supplements, it may involve compound medications, it may involve over-the-counter medications. All of this is kind of the future of where things are going. And so I think getting involved early in this wave, participating in this will really help your pharmacy stay at the forefront of where medicine is going in the future. So in closing, and we'd love to discuss more, Heather, or any questions that have.
Sure.
As I mentioned, we have a fantastic team. Jen Gerhardt, who's on this call, she has helped leading this initiative for us. She is wonderful and awesome, and we have a whole host of team behind us, compliance professionals, software developers, pharmacists, et cetera, that can help answer your questions. We'd love to schedule a demo with you. You can either use that link there, the bit.ly link, or scan the QR code to book time with us. We'll show you our platform. We'll show you how it works. We'll answer any of your questions specific to your state. If you have questions or you want to call, text us, you want to send us an email, you can see that Jen's contact information is listed there below. Feel free to take a screenshot of this or save it. Feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to help you. We are, in general, want to support independent community pharmacies. They are our customers, they are our partners, the people that we work with. And so, as you look at this, as you think of other ideas, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to partner with you and help contribute to the community, especially, Heather, with the community that you guys have created and built here. It's awesome to be part of it.
We have rock stars 100%. Now, once we say yes, Neal, yes, I would like to sign up. What happens next?
Yeah. So when you say yes, what happens next is you'll meet with an AutoPilot representative. They will give you a demo, show you how the tool works, and get you completely set up. You'll be completely ready to then send in prescriptions. You will sign an agreement, which is a shared service agreement with our fulfillment pharmacy to ensure that everything is handled from a legal standpoint. And then you're good to go. You're good to now receive compound medications, and you will use AutoPilot to be able to share those prescriptions with the fulfillment pharmacy. It is shared liability between you and the fulfillment pharmacy. We only work with the best of the best on that side to ensure proper compliance, good turnaround times, good quality product, and great customer service. And I'm really proud to say that many of our pharmacies that are using this program are very, very happy, not only with the revenue they made, but with the benefit they're able to see with the providers they work with, and also with the patients and how they're able to live more happy lives.
Very good. Well, you have a great testimonial right in the comment section. Thank you, Colby, for letting us know what you think of AutoPilot. Okay, so onboarding's easy, no payment up front. What about staff? How many or if any staff do I need to dedicate to this program?
Yeah, so it's not let's see here. Let me I lost my screen here. Can you still see my screen?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so the great thing about this is that there's not more staff that you need to add to this program. It's meant to be very turnkey. It's meant to be very simple. It's not a big change in your pharmacy. We do recommend having kind of an initial onboarding or kickoff meeting. We're happy to help facilitate that with you, where we kind of let everybody in the pharmacy know what this is and how to handle a compound medication that comes into your PMS. But then you can very easily go in, use AutoPilot to quickly and easily send that prescription on to the fulfillment pharmacy, and then they completely handle it from there. So it's very easy to do. It really is not a big lift on your end. You're not going to need to go out and hire additional people. You're going to be able to use all the people that you already use in your pharmacy today, and we'll help hold your hand through that process.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's all. Anybody else have any questions for Neal? Or is anybody besides Kobe using AutoPilot already? Well, I think that's a good indication that you did good, Neal. Thank you so much for joining us, coming on here. All of Neal's contact information. Kobe, how is AutoPilot working for you?
that for Kobe Bryant or a different Kobe?
Yeah, Colby. Colby. Um, Maybe we can do a follow up and get do a small podcast to see how Colby's working it. Okay, so to find out specifics on California, I need to speak to Jen. Is that correct?
Yes, the best option would be to, on that screen, contact Jen. You can schedule time on her calendar. We'll be able to chat with you and help make sure that everything is good. I'm seeing here from my team, the two states that we were worried about were Nevada and Mississippi. Apart from that,
Okay.
we are able to provide a solution for you.
Okay.
So yeah. And as Colby mentioned, so one of the other things that we offer, we didn't talk about it because it's not the purpose of this conversation, but AutoPilot has a provider portal that you can also give to your doctors to allow them to send in prescriptions to you and show your custom formularies, even supplements, anything that you offer. So that's another way of streamlining, creating more loyalty with the providers that you work with, where they now send to you instead of other pharmacies because you're easy to work with. You have a provider portal that is easy to send prescriptions to you. So we're happy to also chat with you about a provider portal if that's something you're interested in as well.
Yeah, the provider portal is fantastic. I have done a demo with that and gone through that, and it seems absolutely helpful and fantastic. Let me see. Someone's got their hand up. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. Again, all of the Jen's information, the way to get a hold of AutoPilot will be in the show notes of this webinar. If you have any questions, can't get a hold of anybody, always feel free to text me, call me, send a carrier pigeon, email me, and I will get that information for you. Thank you, everybody, for spending your time with me on Wednesday. I will see you. Now we got a little messed up last week, so we're gonna have two in a row. So meet me here again next Wednesday, August 5th, and I can't even remember who we're chatting with, but it's gonna be somebody good, somebody who can push your pharmacy ahead. I'll see you guys next week. Bye bye.
Thank you guys.
Bye bye.
Bye now.